Just to start with, Panduleni, give us a brief background on how the African Youth Summit came about.
So basically, the Namibia Institute for Democracy, in partnership with some of our partners like the Hans Seider Foundation, run various initiatives where we aim to capacitate young people. One of these is the Africa Youth Summit that we are hosting tomorrow. And basically the objective of this summit is to bring young people together and to discuss and engage with the leaders. We have very interesting panelists as well, and collectively come up with solutions to some of the challenges that young people are facing. As you said earlier, it's a call to action, and that is what it is. And if we look at the international landscape and what history has taught us, whenever change comes within a country, it's usually driven by the young people. So we are posing that question tomorrow, that who are we today as young people, and how can we contribute to socio-economic and political development within this country. So we're focusing particularly on youth participation in decision making. And we have speakers that are going to speak on this subject from different angles. We have a member of parliament, one of the youngest, that is Maximilian Kachimune. He will be speaking about youth representation on the highest levels, decision-making levels in Namibia. And him being a member of parliament, and we know that the role of parliament is to make laws. He's going to speak about how we can ensure that young people are really represented at different levels of government, including parliament. Secondly, we have Honorable Joseph.
We'll get into the speakers a bit later on. I do understand that this is the second time the summit is set to take place, but talk to us about what some of the major outcomes from last year's summit was.
So last year's summer's topic was basically back consciousness, and we were looking at young people living within the diaspora. We had also interesting speakers, for instance, Dr. Joba Mopanda, and also Honorable Patience Masua, who is also a current member of parliament. So some of the interesting things that came out was they shared ideas, them being very active within the community, how young people can contribute to development within the country. It's unfortunate that it was hosted during a time of COVID, so it was only online. But we're happy that we're still living in times of COVID, but we have people that are coming in audience, and they have an opportunity to engage some of the leaders that we've invited as panelists.
The theme is, are we creating an enabling environment for the leaders of tomorrow? Why is this such an important question to ask?
So as we say, we like to say that young people are the leaders of tomorrow. They're the future. They're the future leaders. But just as importantly, we need to ensure that we capacitate the young people, and we ensure that they have the skills and the knowledge to be able to take over from the elders. I think that's very important. So that's the theme, and that's what we're trying to do through this initiative.
Now back to the speakers that you mentioned earlier. We stopped speaking about Maximilian Kachimune, who you mentioned is a member of the Youth Parliament. Who else is part of the speakers on the day?
So we also have Honorable Joseph Kalimbwe, who is a member of the ruling party in Zambia and also a member of parliament. He also studied at the University of Namibia. He'll be talking about the power of the youth to influence and determine the political climate that we live in. Being part of the current ruling party, before the elections, we must note that they were the opposition. And Joseph Kalimbwe played an instrumental role in ensuring that their party gets enough votes to secure seats within parliament and also win the election at the end of the day. So what he usually speaks about is the power that young people really have to determine the future in terms of elected leaders in office. So we also have him there that's going to join us, and he's going to be speaking about the youth shaping the political climate, their power to do that. Thirdly, we have Lenishwa Engelbrecht. So she's a researcher and anthropologist, and she's going to be speaking about the importance of young people participating in the development of their community. Young people like to say, yeah, we have rights, and the government needs to ensure that we have healthcare, education, jobs. But as young people, we also need to understand that we have also responsibilities and a role to play to ensure that we get some of these services. So that's what Lenishwa is going to be looking at from a youth perspective and also anthropological perspective. Fourthly, we have Wenji Unja, and she's the founder of the Good Stewards. So she's also an advocate for the socio-economic rights of young people. And lastly, she's going to be speaking about taking the baton. taking the baton from the elders. You know, they have to pass it, of course,
I
but
was
we
just about
also
to say that baton needs to be passed.
Yes, we can't grab it. They have to pass it.
Yeah.
So this smooth transition
Yes.
of power, basically, from the elder generation to the younger one is what needs to take place. And how exactly that needs to take place, Wenji is going to be touching on that. So like I said, very, very, very exciting speakers, very interesting topics that they're going to zoom in on, and we're excited to have the public join us at this event.
Panduleni, what was the criteria that the speakers had to meet to be a part of this summit?
So what we were looking at a variety of different speakers. So we didn't want people to come and basically sing the same song.
Right.
So we're looking at young people that are all firstly actively engaged in promoting or developing their communities, firstly. And then we looked at a representative of government, of course, Maximilian, who is a member of parliament. We looked at Honorable Kalimbwe, who is also young. He was actively engaged even while he was living here in Namibia. So he's also a member of parliament, and this event is not only for young people in Namibia, it's also in SADC, basically. So we wanted to have that reach as well. We looked at Lenishwa and also Wenji, who are also coming in from different angles. So we looked at young people, but all of them are actively engaged in really making a difference within their community.
Right.
And we want them to impart and share the knowledge as to how other people, young people that is, can also contribute to socio-economic development within Namibia.
Now to the good stuff. Details on tomorrow's summit.
Tomorrow's summit is taking place at the House of Democracy, which is in France, in Dongo Street, 70 to 72. It will be taking place at 10 to 12. We have only limited seats. It's attendance by RSVP. However, if we are also going to stream the event on YouTube and our Zoom. We share the Zoom login details and also the YouTube link on our social media platforms. So if you can't attend physically, you can always catch us online.
Fantastic.
So 10 to 12, House of Democracy. See you there.